Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 6 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozone. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're seeing this, you're a part of the Fediverse. With me today is Rimu. Rimu is the primary developer of pyfedi, a link aggregator such as Lemmy, Mbin. It's similar to Reddit, and it's written in Python and Flask. You probably know it better from piefed.social. Which powers piefed.social, the pyfedi application. And the site, it looks really clean. And actually looking at the software, it looked really straightforward, and I'm liking it a lot. But Rimu, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I think you're on the other side of the world right now, so it's early for you.
Thank you for having me. It is a little bit early, and it's also the end of summer, autumn.
Oh, wow. What's the weather like?
So the trees are just starting to turn, but it's
nice.
still warm and pleasant and not windy. It's a great weekend. Yep.
Nice.
Looking forward to
Perfect.
The rest of it.
So just to make sure, I always like to ask folks, how would you like to be addressed? Is it Rimu? Do you want to go by something else? Sir?
Rimu, he, him. Yeah.
Rimu, he, him? Okay.
That's fine.
Perfect. So, and I believe that you're south of the equator. I'm north, so we're just coming into spring and summer, which perfect for me. I am not a cold weather person. I don't know about you.
There's no perfect weather. I'm in New Zealand, so I'll have an accent that you don't hear very often. But I'll try to keep it under control.
The American English. I'm in the US, and to be totally honest, it sounds Australian to me. I don't really hear much of a difference.
Yeah,
and I apologize.
No, it is very similar. I've noticed that if I've been traveling for a while overseas, even I can't tell the difference between Australia and New Zealand anymore.
Really?
Yeah, if you hear enough other accents, your brain gets sort of adjusted,
Right, yeah. Well, we're very much a melting pot here. So like we have in the area that I'm in, we have Hispanic folks. I have some of my best friends are Indian. So we hear a lot of Spanish, Hindi. There's actually a very large Chinese population here. So there's Mandarin.
Sure.
So we get all kinds. But
yeah, New Zealand's the same. Similar kind of story to the US and Canada, I guess. It's a country built by immigration over the last 150 years, kind of thing. Yeah, so
that's one thing.
And
that we
also,
never
New Zealand's
really
in Asia, right? So there's a lot of immigration from Asia.
Oh, I never realized that.
Decades, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like right when you started, you said, "Come here." Do you have a pet?
Yes, she might come in at some point. Sophie is actually on pyfed. I've got a community where I post pictures of Sophie the dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was actually sorry. Go ahead.
It's here she is now. Come on. Let's lift her up. She's very cute, so it's worth the trouble. You go.
Oh, hi, Sophie.
She doesn't know what she's looking at.
Mine's a bit larger.
You're on the internet, Sophie.
Don't worry. I get that all the time. Women look at me as if they don't know what they're looking at, so I'm used to that. Sophie's right there with the rest of them. So you have, you obviously are a lover of plants as well.
Yeah, that's more of my girlfriend's projects.
Okay.
We have about 20 plants in the house, I think.
Wow.
Something like that. And a small patch of grass out the front of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, being American, I always we have lawns here, and that was interesting for me to find out that is not a standard thing in most of the world, right? Like we have half an acre.
True. Yeah. Got a few vegetables as well. I grew a tomato plant that's taller than me this year, which is my best one, personal best tomato plant. Yep.
Congrats! That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it got so tall it sort of broke off in the wind and bent over, and now it's growing sideways along the fence. It's
Oh,
great.
wow. It's still growing, though. It doesn't have any issues?
Yeah, it's doing all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've heard tomato plants are incredibly hardy.
I don't know. They're mysterious. Some
Okay.
just depends on where you plant it, I think.
Oh,
Some
maybe.
soil it hates and just doesn't grow properly and then gets all sick and dies.
Oh,
Other times they just take off like crazy. I don't know. It's a mystery.
If you like
Seems
tomatoes, I
kind of
guess
funky.
you should try it. I can't do
Oh,
tomatoes. I like
oh,
tomato
they're
sauce
the
and
best
ketchup.
thing to grow, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
wife
because
and
you
kid
get
probably
lots of
love them.
them, and the the smell of the tomato plant on your fingers from pruning them or picking the tomatoes or whatever is just divine. It's a special kind of thing.
So you have it. It seems like you definitely have a love for your tomato plants. Do you grow anything else? Like,
Uh, but nothing serious. There's just some herbs and a rose bush and a bunch of wildflowers. We bought some packets of mixed wildflowers and scattered them around all over the garden, and then just random things happen.
oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, my wife and
Yeah,
I,
it's great.
the front of our house had all of these bushes, and it was just a nightmare. And they didn't really provide any like natural flowers or anything for the area, because I live in North Carolina and they're growing so fast that they want to make it look nice, but it's not natural. So we actually had the bushes ripped out, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to put all native seeds into our flower beds and stuff, and
Yeah, cool.
try to help out the wildlife. We have like bird feeders. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh,
Like, bird feeders stick to your window, so you put it on
mm,
the outside of the window, so birds will literally fly up and they'll just basically perch right outside your window and eat as you're just sitting there
yeah,
watching them.
great. That's cool.
That's awesome. I love that. So
Yeah.
other than taking care of your tomato plants, what do you have any hobbies? Like, what do you do in your free time? If you have free
Uh,
time.
yeah. I mean, I love to get out in nature and walk around and
Okay.
you know think about ecology, and the dog's really good company for that. But certainly lately, like the last 18 months, a lot of my spare time is coding pyfed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's become quite a consuming thing. Um, I've also just moved to the city I live now about a year ago, so there hasn't been heaps else to do sort of socially. So I've been pretty heavily into this, and it's been really cool. I haven't really done a large scale open source project before, um, so it's been really nice to do that and have people join me in the journey and contribute to it, and have it grow as a thing that I'm sort of bringing into the world. Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
uh are you a software developer by trade, or is you're just like, hey, I
yeah,
could do
yeah.
this?
I've been a freelance web developer for my career, so 25 years ish now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and I work part time from home, so things are all pretty flexible, and I do have a fair bit of spare time to put into this. Um, I've had a couple of real jobs for a few years, but most of my time, like 80% of my career, has been working independently as a freelancer from usually from home. So
Okay.
um, yeah, this is my lifestyle, and it has been for a long time, and I hope it keeps going like this because it's great.
Well, this is, I mean, again, so I was talking to pre-show about this. I had not heard of piefed.social. So just to give folks in our audience information about it, especially those on audio, if you can't see it, piefed.social is, I've called it a link aggregator for things like this. Think of Reddit, Lemmy, Mbin. What is it to you? Like, do you call it a link aggregator, or how do you define piefed.social?
Um, no, I don't really ever use that term. More of a forum. It's a forum,
Forum?
um,
Okay. I've heard people use that
basically.
too.
but it's federated. It's a federated forum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is definitely a more of a Reddit clone type forum, I guess, in the sense that the votes matter a lot. I mean, in old school traditional forums, the ordering of the threads was just based on who commented on it last,
Chronological.
which is a mode you can use. It's the active filter, sort filter thingy on the top of the homepage does that, but I don't think it's widely used. And the whole point really is the voting. So it's more of a federated Reddit clone kind of thing, I guess.
So
Yeah.
when did you find the Fediverse, and like what attracted you to it? Then we'll go from there, because I have a lot more questions around.
I guess it was back in 2023-ish or 2022.
Okay.
Well before Elon Musk. I think it was I've just been always interested in Linux and programming, and so someone on Twitter or somewhere like that must have shared a link to it, to Mastodon, and I played around with that a bit. And it was pretty quiet. There was hardly anyone using it. And a few months later, someone on Mastodon mentioned Lemmy, and I had a look at that. And this was before the Reddit API thing drove lots of people there, well before. So that was super dead as well, and very janky and funny looking.
Yep.
And I bounced off that and didn't use it at all until much later. But yeah, until Mastodon got busier, I didn't really get into it properly because it was pretty quiet. But it did seem like a very convivial, friendly place, and something that had a lot of potential. So I kept my account, of course, and just waited until it took off. Yeah.
Okay. I was definitely one of those folks that was like, I'd never used social media before, but I was like, this I can get into, right? Like, and then
you never used social media before?
I mean, I knew of it, but I think I had a Twitter account, but I never really used it. When I was in college is when Facebook was starting to take off, and all my roommates were like, come use this. And I was like,
yeah.
I created an account and I never used it. Like I've always been of the mind, like, I don't want my digital self in these systems where
why are you sharing yourself with all these
right
randoms? Yeah,
right. And I've never really, that's never really jived with me. So when I found out about the Fediverse, I think it was about 2017, 2018, I was all in. But I had tried different things. Lemmy was definitely one of them, and I found a not very welcome place there. But as it's expanded and grown, and I've met more people that are similar to myself, it's definitely become more friendly and non-hostile to folks like us. But I definitely remember the before Musk and the after Musk and the before Reddit and the after Reddit thing. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I lived through those waves and I absolutely loved them. So you found Lemmy and things started to take off. What was kind of the tipping point for you that you're like, okay, I'm going in on this and I'm going to build my own?
Well, one of the things that Mastodon just fixed yesterday, which they didn't fix for years.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You couldn't see all the replies to a post. This foundational element of the thing was missing for so long. So I started casting around for alternatives, and I tried everything. But unfortunately, Mastodon was still the best of the options. For various different reasons. Everything fell short for some reason. And I've always been a long-time Reddit user. I've got a 15-year-old account from Reddit or something.
Yeah.
Love Reddit in the past, and I really think that the longer form content is the way to go in terms of really exploring issues and dealing with complex topics. So, and that's what's important to me. So The whole microblogging concept isn't something I'm super into to start with.
Yeah.
So federated Reddit clones are really, there was only two, Lemmy and Mbin, which is now Mbin.
Right.
And both of those fell short for me for different reasons. I ran a Mbin instance for a while because I know PHP and felt that was something I could possibly contribute to. But once I got into the code base, it became apparent that it wasn't going to be a goer. And then the project itself actually fell over.
Yeah.
For reasons. But so yeah, and there were other issues with most Fediverse projects. They did seem to be kind of like a Rube Goldberg contraption of all these different
yep.
bits thrown together, and setting them up and getting them running seemed to be quite difficult. And they did seem to be super inefficient. There was a lot of really beefy Mastodon servers serving a couple of thousand people, and it was just sort of like, oh my god, we're fucking it up, and I do have experience and knowledge and skills in this particular area, and this is kind of the place where I can make the most difference. If I got out on the streets and joined a protest, I'm just another dude, but
yeah,
but I can actually create something of real value in this particular space. So yeah, that's what's important to me.
no, I love that idea, and I'm 100% there with you. That's one of the reasons I started this. Like I'm not a developer, right? I am trying to create some things, but it's like, okay, this is something I can get behind. Where do my skills lie? How can I help out and things like that? And I love that you're just like, yeah, I can just, take off and see where it goes. And you do what you can do. And you and I were talking earlier, and you're not doing it because you have to. You're not doing it because you're paid to. You're not doing it because it's your job, right? You're doing it because you have an interest. And if other people pick up on it, cool. The thumbs up, the likes, the people asking to have you on a show, asking, like, people getting excited for a show that I'm just like, it's just going to be me. I'm going to be talking to cool people. And that is so reassuring to you, because you start out with this thing. You're like, I don't even know if anyone's going to like it, but it's for me, and that's okay, because we can build this for ourselves, right? And that's literally where I've been on it.
Yeah. I like using pyfed to access the Fediverse, and if only a handful of others like it too, then I'll continue to building it and working on it, because it's something I like doing and something I love using. So so that's the main thing. Yeah.
So so I've tried to set up Lemmy, and like you said, it's a whole hodgepodge of pieces. And back when I last tried, and I think it was only like 6 or 9 months ago, it was still like, this is a Docker container for development. Don't run this in production. And I'm like, well, what the hell is Lemmy running on if I can't run this in production? Like, so and I took a look at it. I'm pretty sure I know, but like, for our audience, like, what's it take to get a pyfed instance set up? Would you prefer someone set up their own pyfedi instance or be on piefed.social?
Running your own instance is really something that only some people can do. There's a certain amount of basic Linux admin knowledge you need to be able to run a server in the first place. And a lot of people don't have the time to manage the politics of who do you defederate from, and and there's a lot of dealing with spam and stuff. So for most people, I guess they just have to pick an instance somehow. We have 2 or 3 or 4 kind of choices for pyfed instances at the moment. But I kind of lost the thread of the question there. What was the I was working up to it, but then I lost my way. What was it again?
Yeah, no, you're fine. I know I ask a lot all at once, so I just get very excited and passionate about these things. Would you, so like someone like myself, I have a lot of Linux knowledge. Would it be difficult for me to run? Would you rather see
I don't think
more
so.
people join piefed.social,
yeah.
or would you rather see more people run their own?
Yeah, so for a lot of people, joining an instance is their only thing. But if you're in any way, Linuxy, then I think setting up a pyfed Docker container should be pretty straightforward. Recently, someone made one and said that it was the easiest of any Fediverse projects that they've done.
Wow.
Which surprised me a little bit. But the documentation has gotten a lot better lately. And actually, until like 3 months ago, we didn't have a Docker option that was documented anywhere. But now that we do, it's become a lot easier. Yeah, I reckon it's worth a try for anyone. Yeah. However, I will say that if you want to have if you want to share it with other people, there's a lot of extra setup to make it handle that. Like you've got to get email working properly, which sounds harder than it sounds. And you've got to get Cloudflare set up real good. The Cloudflare out of the box is kind of useless. You have to actually configure it properly. And there's a whole bunch of other things you might want to deal with, monitoring and so on. So it's once you get your first pyfed page loaded up in your browser, you're only half done. There's a whole lot more crap to deal with, and a lot of it less fun than spinning up a Docker container. So,
how many folks are working with you on the project?
Running it for yourself though is relatively low key.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think.
Yeah, that's normally what I've been doing. Is most of the things that I run
on server.
Yeah,
on the server. I found. For a single user instance that's only subscribed to the communities that one person is interested in, would tend to be a subset of all the communities, right? So you're only going to get half or a third of the federation traffic that a full server would get. So you could probably have a couple of cores and like 2 gigs of RAM, maybe 4 gigs, would be enough for a 5 or less users kind of situation. piefed.social has 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM, and it serves about 270 monthly active users, and it's subscribed to pretty much every Lemmy community there is, so it's getting the full force of all the traffic that happens on the Lemmyverse. One of the quirks about Lemmy is that it sends out everything to everyone, basically. It's not like Mastodon where you only receive some of the replies or just the ones you're subscribed to, just the people you're subscribed to. With Lemmy, you get all the traffic from the entire community sent to you. Right, so it's a bit more of a sledgehammer, I think, in terms of the network traffic. But it's how it should be. You need to get all of the stuff, because that thing with Mastodon, I haven't really dived into that solution to the all replies issue to see how they're doing it, but it sounds like there's a lot of tidying up after the fact where they actually have to go out and get whatever's missing. They're not just sending everything up front.
It's difficult problems, right? Like we've seen
it is.
The last
especially after you've built it wrong to start with.
Right. Yeah, no. But we've seen over the last 15, 20 years where these big tech giants that have essentially infinite money, they have difficulty running this. And we're basically reproducing that in our own way. But now we have anyone that can jump in and give us any kind of message. So it makes it significantly more difficult. And what if one doesn't support this and the other one does? And it's like they are very difficult problems to approach, right? But that also makes it kind of more rewarding when you can figure things out like that.
I think a lot of the Fediverse platforms have reproduced some of those big tech problems by using big tech software big tech frameworks to build their software.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you use something like React and do the so-called modern full stack approach of having a back-end server and then a separate TypeScript based front-end JavaScript heavy thing which runs in the browser, and then a mobile app as well, probably in some other bloody framework. You need and then a database. So you kind of need like 4 different specializations, and it's very rare to find someone who can do all of those with enough free time to build a bloody thing.
Right.
I mean, these people are valuable, right? So they're rare and busy. And so when you build your platform in that manner, which is really optimized for teams, massive teams of people,
yep,
you're gonna slow yourself down a lot. And I think one of the reasons why pyfed is able to crank out features as fast as it does is because I've avoided those pitfalls. And pyfed is built in a way that was the norm about 10 years ago or further back even, where it's more of a monolith. There's a single code base really that is mostly Python, and if you know Python you can work on the whole thing pretty much.
Yeah, I was just looking at your...
And so when you change something, you only have to change it in 1 or 2 places rather than in the database, in the back end, in the front end, in the mobile app, in the API, whatever. So when I develop something, I can get it done in a day, which might take a team of people at Facebook to do in a week or 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's just a gut feel estimate, wave my hands in the air thing, of course, but it feels like pretty efficient.
Yeah. No, and that's, I was looking at your code.
That was one of the things that drove me to start pyfed, I think, was the avoidance of the big tech tar pit, basically, of the way that so much web development is done these days.
Yeah, and it looks like your code at least based on Codeberg, is majority Python, and the next thing is actually straight HTML, followed by JavaScript, CSS, and then I'm not certain even what SCSS is. I myself, again, I'm not a developer looking at it, so now that you say that, I wonder if I'm going the wrong route. I'm doing Rust with, I think it's Dioxys is how you pronounce it, framework, because, I don't know. But yeah, this looks like majority of Python. That's awesome.
Sure, yeah. We are developing a mobile app as well, because that's the first thing people ask for when they hear about
do
pyfed.
It, yeah.
Like, all right, where's the app? So I've kind of lost my one of my best developers to that project, that side project of building an API and a mobile app for the last 6 months. But we're just about there. And there's been interest from third-party developers as well. Now that the API is maturing, so that they're gonna change their apps to work with pyfed.
Congrats!
The
That's
Interstellar
huge.
app developer recently contacted us to talk about that, and 95% of the API is the same as the Lemmy API. So porting a Lemmy app to a pyfed app, or to support both, should be really straightforward.
I use Interstellar myself. It's really good. I mean, it has some issues. What doesn't, especially when folks are giving their free time. But it's one of the best Lemmy clients, soon to be pyfed clients out there.
Right,
that's awesome. Congrats.
We've been working on a fork of Thunder, which I understand is quite good as well.
That one.
And I think that might be a Lemmy only one, whereas Interstellar does Mbin as well.
Okay.
I haven't really been getting into it much. I'll leave it to Andrew. But so there's kind of two on the boil there. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they can kind of keep up with the web front end because I'm not slowing down for them.
That's bold. If you guys want to do this, great. Here's the code.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the API is stable, they can do whatever they want with their
front ends.
Yeah.
But having outside views like that, people are want to actually do this is reassuring. Like, hey, I must be doing something right if someone else wants to do this. But two, is a great way to start poking at your code, right? Like, no code is perfect. So where can we do better? Or even, a lot of folks, the diversity of folks in the open source environment bring ideas you would never have thought of before. So it gives you this opportunity to really expand your code base by someone that's not even changing your code base, just leveraging it.
That's awesome. Right. Yeah, there has been a huge reorganization we had to do to make the API kind of feasible, because then when you have data coming in from multiple sources, we've got the front end on the website, we've got federation stuff coming in, and now we have the API coming in. You can't have 3 or 4 different code bases. Basically, you have to have a certain amount of much better architecture. So that sort of having, as you say, having more people involved has meant that the underlying quality has had to improve a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've had to reduce a lot of duplication as a result. Yeah.
Which though makes your code leaner, meaner, more
maintainable,
capable.
is the big thing. Yeah.
Which, I mean, more maintainable turns it into more people can more easily read it, help out. Like, it's a snowball effect, like you said pre-show, right? And that's always, it's empowering, right?
Sure. Yeah. Although there is a tension with that, where hopefully the quality improves, but also the more different use cases you have to cover and the more performance you need to squeeze out of a bigger, more active situation, the more complex it gets. I've just put in some stuff this week which significantly complexifies it again.
You work right up to the hour, because it looks like the last code change was 13 hours ago, so you really are constantly working.
Well, I've just gotten up this morning, so I've been sleeping, man. Give me a break.
I was expecting 30 minutes. Come on, man, get on it. No 13 hours ago. That's really good. Like, that's and it looks like 2,710 commits. So that is the sign of a very active, very healthy code base. And again, I mean, for piefed.social, it looks beautiful, and I mean, I would assume majority of folks at least have heard of Python, and lots of us, especially, I remember when Python was introduced. Like, it's well known, well stabilized, and it's a great choice.
Yeah. On some metrics, it's the most popular language in the world. Yep.
Yeah.
So, one of the objections I have to a lot of the Fediverse projects is that it's written in the favorite language of the founding developer, which is often kind of an obscure language. Python happens to be my favorite, so the fact that I built it in Python suits me, but also just the fact that it's so widely used hopefully means that we get lots of contributions in the future.
So so one of my community members asked, what is the client side written in? It's not React, you said. It looked like it's just straight HTML. Or is there a Python?
Technically, it's not HTML. I mean, the file extension is .html that we put the front end code into. Yeah. But it uses a templating engine called Ginger with a J. J-I-N-G-A.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sure. And it's pretty big in the Python ecosystem. All that's server-side rendered in modern terminology. So the template is parsed on the server before the resulting HTML is sent to the client. And so it's just a normal web page, basically, with a bit of JavaScript mixed in.
Okay.
As opposed to the more modern thing where you send 10 megabytes of JavaScript to the client, and then the JavaScript makes HTML in the browser, kind of thing. And So yeah, the Codeberg interprets that as HTML, but it's really HTML with extra bits added onto it to make it into a more of a Python type thing.
What was one of the biggest challenges you've had of getting like federation working? Because it sounds like the Python stuff you've already known. You've known for 20 years, right? But something like the Fediverse, because it's so new, it's such a new idea. Have you had any issues, or was that really well documented that you can get up with not many problems?
The biggest stumbling block was really early on with the way activities are assigned when they're sent between servers. Basically, to avoid forgeries and people being able to just send fake activities.
Oh, yeah.
Every activity is sort of cryptographically signed with the private key of the sending account.
I never thought
every
about that.
account on every Fediverse platform has a public and a private key on it.
Right.
And the public key is available using an HTTP GET to anyone who wants it. So when you sign an activity using your private key, the recipients can retrieve the public key and check that it was really you who sent it.
Okay, right.
So that was bloody hard because I don't know any cryptography stuff, and it was pretty hard to follow when you read about it. And because it's such a sort of fundamentally tied up with ActivityPub type thing, I couldn't find any existing code that just did that signing part. It was all sort of in a part of the big ball of mud that dealt with ActivityPub in that project.
Yeah.
So I did have to hunt around quite a lot of different projects before I found something that I could copy out and plonk into mine and have it just work.
Nice.
I think I went through about a dozen different projects. And not just Python ones. There was half of them were Python, but there was a lot of different languages, and I was trying to port them over, and it was tough.
It's one of those things that, especially in the modern day technology and internet, no one ever thinks about. But once you start stepping your foot into security and secure signing, cryptography and stuff like that, like it really is a field of its own. Like, okay, this is, you've said your key is this and it matches this. Okay, now are you actually, you don't just have the authentication, you have the authorization, right? Like, are you allowed to talk to me? How are you allowed to talk to me? Can you do this? Can you do that? How can I verify that all these things are what they are before you even send that? Like, how do you know that key is actually the right key? Like, yes, it matches, but did it come from you? And it's, cryptography has, it's blown my mind.
Yeah. And all of that's outside of the ActivityPub spec. There's a whole lot of stuff that's not written down anywhere.
Okay.
And so you just have to kind of make it up and try things out. Just send activities and see what happens, kind of thing.
While also trying not to get banned by the big guys for testing your stuff against theirs, and then
there are test servers, and you can start your own up if you can be bothered. Like if you go to enterprise.lemmy.org or something, enterprise.lemmy.mil, there's a test Lemmy.
Oh, is there? Let's see.
And there's two others that also have a Star Trek theme in their name.
Of course, yeah. Lemmy is. So I'm a Trekkie, and Lemmy is definitely known for Trekkies.
Yeah, right. So you can test your app against that and see if your posts appear and stuff. And if you've got an account on enterprise.lemmy, you can do things in there and see if they come through and what happens and what the JSON structure is, and try and infer it from that. And the Lemmy developers have done an amazing job of documenting their stuff much better than any of the other projects I've seen.
Well, and I think that's one of the massive strengths of the Fediverse is you might not like Lemmy, right? Which is totally fine. There's a lot of folks that I know that won't use it because they don't like the political leanings, which is, I'm not getting into that, but they still are giving back in some way, right? They either have a code base you can go look at, or like you said, there's that test server, which this all just helps all of us. It's not just, one or another. It's all of us. You can find your different helpfulness from any of these projects, which, and again, thank you, because your project is out there on Codebird. So if someone is like, how do I do the cryptographic signing? We have your Python now to look at as well. And
sure, yeah.
The more people that look at it, like, you've just helped potentially make it easier for hundreds of thousands of people. Who knows?
Potentially,
yeah. And you'll never know, right? You'll pretty much never know, but you can always know that you've tried, in my opinion. Like, this is huge. I find this kind of stuff amazing, that we can all from all over the world interact and build something together randomly over the internet. And I don't know, I'm humbled and grateful for folks like
that's
yourself.
Right. It's quite a time to be alive. I mean, we're facing unprecedented challenges, but man, there's a lot of good stuff happening. Yes.
Yeah. No, 100%. We can reach out and talk to someone from New Zealand all the way in America.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we can tear ourselves away from doom scrolling on our 6-inch little bit of black plastic, then, there's unprecedented opportunities for
good that we could do.
Learning anything. You can access any information anytime you want. It'll be interesting to see where AI goes. That could be amazing. That could be horrific. Could be a mixture of both.
Yeah, usually some of us have seen the route that it's gone, are fearful that it's going to be horrific. There's some that think it's going to be amazing. Usually ends up somewhere in the middle, or someplace we can never imagine. I'm in the
that's kind of another thing people are afraid of, isn't it? It's like, maybe it won't be terrible. Maybe it'll just continue to muddle on like we always have, and it'll just be sort of this boring dystopia.
Yeah. It's interesting times, though. I've told people before, like, I'm tired of living through history. Can't we just coast the rest of the way? But life continues on. What is your idea of success for yourself, for the project, for anything really?
This success for PyFed. Just as long as people are enjoying it and getting something of value from it. That's the main thing.
Well, I mean,
it's been a great learning experience for, I think, everyone involved in building it. There's been special challenges that come up and different things to think about and different muscles to exercise. But I think as an individual, what makes someone successful is really up to them. And it's quite an individual way of achieving it usually. Like, everyone's dealt different cards, some of them shitty, some of them special. And if you can play your cards really well, then you've succeeded. In my eyes. I feel like I've done pretty well with mine, considering what they were. But
I hear that.
According to some people, I guess, if they looked at my bank account and so on, they might not think that I'm a success.
Yeah.
But it's up to everyone to develop their own kind of success.
You've succeeded. Someone in my chat literally just said love piefed. So, and
that's nice.
I've been scrolling through the
where's your chat? How do I see this?
Oh, it's on I could send it to you. It's on stream.firesidefedi.live. I stream these live through Owncast. I might have forgotten to tell you that. Sorry. I could send it to you. It's powered by Owncast. which is also
cool.
one of the easiest applications I've ever set up. It's literally like one script and it just runs everything and installs it. It's really cool.
Huh. Amazing.
So before we
I
get
feel like
on,
I should have that open in the window somewhere because there is potential to talk to people.
Yeah, sorry. Here.
If we're doing it live.
Yeah, let me see if I can toss this over here real quick. I think it's gonna mess up my. I can send that. There you go. Close that. But I've been scrolling through the awe community on piefed.social. So there's a lot of goodness that you're doing, and a lot of if people, for those that are watching, you see a lot of very cute pictures. So that's definitely bringing a lot of positivity to life. You have to be careful on what you show on the Fediverse because like it gets political fast. So I was trying to find a nice safe spot where we can all do. And I love the tile view. The tile view is wonderful.
Yeah, that was fun to put together. I haven't done a lot with it lately, but I haven't seen anything like that anywhere else.
No, I agree.
I'm not a big meme person, really, but it could be quite good for memes, I suppose. But it's fantastic for photography.
Yes.
There's a especially good one on pyfed, which pulls in photos from Mastodon. There's a have you run across a guppy on Mastodon?
No.
I wonder if I can put that in the thing. Anyway, it's a primitive kind of groups functionality in Mastodon.
Okay.
Where it you send your toot to that address and then it sends it out to all the followers. And
nice.
pyfed can subscribe to a guppy group as well, and then it appears as a community in pyfed. So the photography one is spectacular.
That's great.
It's one of my favorites, and that's been really, really good to use in that tiled view. piefed.social/c/photography. Here we go. I wonder if I can put that into that chat.
Yeah, you should be able to. I can pull it up.
Oh dear. Do not go to that page. Someone spammed it with porn.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. Not right now. But what I'll say is, like, I'm on Lemmy.world right now, and they're one of the biggest ones, and they get crushed a lot. And I was never certain that Lemmy was the be all end all. After having learned about pyfed, I hope it's okay. I'm going to be making an account to check it out because I really like. It's very smooth. It's very fast. I love the tile view because I love looking at pictures, especially of cute animals and kids and stuff like that. Just brightens my day. But before we're going to have to wrap up soon here. But before we get to our contest, what can people do for you to help pyfed.social, help the project?
Sure.
Sky's the limit.
So obviously it's a programming thing. It'd be great to have more programmers always, but really we need people to find the bugs and report the bugs. And we need people to write documentation. We need design work. I'm a programmer, so I can tell when design is bad, but I can't necessarily make a good one. So yeah, it'd be good to have more help with design. Really, I've just used a kind of default Bootstrap theme for it, and that's serviceable. But man, we could be doing a lot better.
No, that's the.
So yeah, all that kind of auxiliary stuff, even help with moderation and the human side of dealing with people would be fantastic at some point as things get busier. Yeah, so there's a lot of non-programming, non-developer things that that people can do on any open source project, really. But often just the bug fixing, the bug finding and reporting thing. It sounds kind of trivial, but it's super important because honestly, like 95% of people won't report a bug or a problem they see, and it'll just persist for weeks or longer without anyone saying anything.
and I'll say this to folks, because I used to be of this mentality of, oh, I hit a bug. Oh, there's no way someone else hasn't hit a bug, so someone must have already, reported this. Report it again, because it could be that no one's reported it. It could be that someone's reported it, but it's not gotten a lot of traction. And the more people that report it, the higher up it gets. Or it could be something completely new. So even if, the person sitting next to you hits the same bug and they go report it again. Because the more often it happens, that means the higher the priority that you need to get. And also, you have a Patreon. I posted the Patreon on the video. It's pyfed for Patreon. I'm assuming that helps to cover server costs and I can't.
It doesn't cover much.
Right.
The idea is that it would cover server costs. Yeah, I mean, I'm only. It's a pretty small server.
No, that's tiny.
So it doesn't cost me much.
Yeah.
Hetzner hosts a lot of different Fediverse servers, and they are extremely good value.
Yes. No, that's
in my opinion.
I'm currently running. Sorry, go
ahead. Way better than the Amazon or Microsoft or any of those servers. Yeah, it's like a third of the price.
Yeah, I have 2 servers through them that can handle. With the server that I'm on right now, we're live streaming. It handles my PeerTube, Castopod. It handles like, I think 6 or 7 different Fediverse things now. And I think that one is like $13 a month. Like it's not, it's not unreasonable at all. You don't, that's just for me though too, but that's all of my stuff. And I think that that's completely, that's what I like to see. Like we each own our own thing. Kind of, but hopefully it'll continue to grow and you'll get more patrons and you can do more, maybe full-time job.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if it got busier, I would need to upgrade the server. Currently piefed.social has let's just say less than 1,000.
So far
less than 500 monthly active users. So it doesn't need much of a server, and in my opinion, it's pretty efficiently written, so it doesn't need much of a server. But we would need to upgrade it, but of course, server costs are just a minuscule part of any project. The opportunity cost that I'm taking by working on this as much as I do, and all the other contributors as well, of course, is quite huge.
Yes.
And so if there was any money left over, it'd be great to start paying, the moderators, the server admins, the developers, and so on. The business model of all of this is still very much up in the air.
but that's the thing. Like the early internet, that's how the early internet was, right? We all gave it for free and no one really knew how you would get paid. But these models came about and we have an opportunity to shape that. I was going to go on to our quiz, but Mr. Funky Dude asked a great question. Where does the name pyfed come from?
Oh, it's just a portmanteau of Python and Fediverse.
Okay. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Love it though. It's very short, succinct. It tells you what it is. You have a great logo. Like that's
I have a logo, yes. Not super attached to it.
So that comes in where the design comes in, I'm guessing. If you have someone that
design,
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
It's serving its purpose. It does kind of overlap too much with Pixel Fed, unfortunately, but there's going to be a lot of projects with Fed in their name.
Yes.
And some of them are going to start with P. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so many words, but now for the real reason I asked Rimu here to give you the chance of an opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. The prize today is year's supply of wet dog hair, which I know, calm down, this is exciting. I thought about a fur coat, but that fur coats aren't wet, and things are better when they're wet. So, are you ready for your quiz, Rimu?
Yes. Go.
Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Well, I mean, it's Star Wars, but funny.
Oh, yeah.
We are talking about Spaceballs, the movie, right?
And the flamethrower and the no. But what is your favorite? My favorite is Spaceballs, so I throw that in.
Oh.
And no one has ever said Spaceballs, but it's my favorite movie. So what is your favorite movie?
How can you get this question wrong, though? Like, how do you fail this quiz?
That's the fun of it. Yeah, it only gets weirder from here, Rimu.
Oh, God. Favorite movie is not been made yet. It is a adaptation of the book Ministry for the Future.
Ministry for the Future. What is it about?
It's an awesome book. It's fiction set in the near future in coming decades as humanity grapples with climate change. And basically, the Ministry for the Future is the name of the ministry that the UN creates to deal with climate change.
Interesting.
And the book starts with a wet bulb event in India in which tens of millions of people die from the point of view of someone in it. And it gets better from there, more positive from there.
It sounds a bit bleak, but it sounds very interesting. Is it hopeful?
Oh yeah, it's hopeful.
Okay.
I mean, there's still Europe is still covered in refugee camps and stuff, but there's a future.
Yeah, no, I mean, I might have to.
That reminds me. I really freaking loved Don't Look Up.
Oh, Don't Look Up
recently,
was great.
Ish. Yeah.
Don't Look Up was.
I really especially loved the ending-ish scene with the dinner.
Yeah.
They're having dinner at the end.
That's the part burned in my brain.
Fucked. Yep. Yeah, that was so well done because it was not only did it have that burning into your brain thing.
Yeah.
But it was just people sitting around having dinner.
Yep.
Just really being in the moment.
Yep.
And
there's
how do you pull that off in a movie? Like movies are supposed to be exploding cars and stuff.
Right. No, but it's so human. It's so relatable. Like everyone I've talked to about that was like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with the friends and the family that I love, just trying to have a good time. And it's like, yeah, it was great. That is an excellent movie. If you haven't, for folks on the audio version or in the video, if you haven't seen Don't Go Look Up, Don't Go Look Up.
Sure.
And then there's a little second ending, which is perfect. And it really sums up my feelings towards how technology is going today. It's so good.
I was just thinking the other day, like Elon Musk is super into going to Mars, right?
Yep.
And now that he's pulled his salute, we know exactly what kind of society he's going to create there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully there's some hostile wildlife on Mars.
A Bronto Rock.
It's not really ending.
Yeah. So for the next question, shoes, no shoes, or socks with sandals?
My video stream has gone a bit dark. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh no, I'm looking at something else. Yeah, so here's my answer.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So no shoes.
no shoes today. It's quite warm.
Okay. Yeah, the socks with sandals thing I've never understood, but I know some people do it. I want to finally meet a psychotic person that does that, just so I can ask them why. But yeah, I have no shoes on either. You got to let them breathe,
You're just
man.
hanging out for that moment.
yeah.
One day this is going to pay off.
Vinyl, 8-tracks, or CDs?
Oh man, there's a special place in my heart for vinyl. I spent years going to nightclubs in the early 2000s and they were playing vinyl because I don't know why. Apparently CDs had a different sound. Anyway, vinyl always reminds me of that time in my life, which was, full of amazing people and amazing experiences and being a young crazy person. So, yeah. Vinyl.
Okay. Vinyl.
Just checking out the chat here.
Yeah, so Hylas...
yes, someone did mention that it is kind of a Kiwi thing. Oh, the castle. The castle is pretty great.
Castle.
The castle's more of an Australian thing, but still, it's...
Hylas is Australian, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's getting a bit old now, but I think it still holds up. It's just really quirky, sort of. There's a special kind of humor that's common in Australia and New Zealand. It's kind of a...
Is it the same kind as in the UK? Because the UK's humor is so dry.
It's not as dry, but there's that same understated kind of low-key thing to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the kind of movie you can watch more than once, definitely, and still get funny bits out of it.
Okay.
The first time.
So what does an alternate universe Rimu do for a living?
Has anyone played Stellaris?
Oh, yeah.
You know Stellaris?
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, I could sink a lot of hours into that. Yeah, so in an alternate universe, I'm an omniscient being that secretly manipulates events on hundreds of worlds.
That is probably one of the best answers I've ever heard. That's great. Most people are like, I'm a guitar player. That's better than what I had. So I called.
I've lived most of my dreams. I've done the guitar playing and
have you?
The world travel. Yeah, I'm quite happy to.
That's awesome.
Sit at home and code now.
Well, I before the interview, I called up an alternate universe Rimu. I have a special phone. Don't ask how it works. It's magic. And that alternate universe Rimu said he color codes socks by length and smell. He gets paid very well doing it. So if you ever need something else to try out,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes, organizing things into categories. Some people get really into that.
So. Is a hot dog a sandwich or a Wellington?
I don't know what a Wellington is, so I'm going to say it's a sandwich.
Okay.
What's a Wellington?
A Wellington is, I think it's British cuisine where it's meat wrapped in some kind of casing.
Oh, I think that might be a beef Wellington. Yes.
Yeah, like a beef Wellington. Yeah. Still going with sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. What's the next one?
Okay. And then my very last question I have for you, and the last question is always transmitted telepathically because, obviously I'm telepathic. So I'm going to transmit it telepathically to you, and you I'll let you know when I sent it. Obviously you'll know because it's telepathic, but you'll just let me know the answer. Okay? You ready? Okay.
Sure.
I sent the message. So what's the answer?
Just looking up something here.
Okay.
Okay, the answer is Orbital by Samantha Harvey.
Orbital by Samantha Harvey. Okay. I'll have to check that one out too, I'm guessing. And it comes up. Okay.
Yeah, it might even be in your library. It's a hugely popular book at the moment.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Rimu. You got every answer either wrong or right. Good job.
Yeah.
And I was going to send you that year's supply of wet dog hair, but I was just going to ship it with the dog. But my kids, I was spraying them down with the hose, and they told me that I'm not allowed to take the dog. So unfortunately, the best I have for you is the interview today. So very sorry about
Fair
that.
enough.
Unless you want to fight two little kids, you have to come here to do it. So. But that's the end of episode 6 of Fireside Fedi. Thank you, Rimu, so much for joining me. And thank you very much for all the hard work that you've done, giving back all of your time and energy and vibes and code and everything. And everyone, please remember that you can go donate. Rimu said the best way to help out is, go do some bug testing. I know we have some security guys here, so go do some security testing. Go look at that Python code. There's also the patreon.com/pyfed. Also, everyone, never forget, you're all wonderful folks, deserving of happiness and love. Let's share love, empathy, compassion among the Fediverse. Let us all be the app that wants to bring more folks to the Fediverse. And we control our own future. Don't forget to tip your platform admins and developers. And remember, people and protocols over platforms. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, thank you. It's been really fun. Good times. Cheers. See ya.